Has the left always been this crazy and sporadic in your experience?
No, I think that they have been turbocharged. First of all, they are dealing with billions of dollars of dark money, receive millions of fraudulent contributions. This is simple. Prosecute them. It's very provable. No trial in D.C. Let's try you in Florida.
Right.
The woman who ran for the Senate in Florida raised $37 million. I can prove you $30 million of that is illegal.
Wow.
She should be arrested tomorrow morning and prosecuted. She would be if she were a Republican.
Wow.
We got some product placement here, folks.
Yeah, organic chips, and this
I love
water's
it.
all you.
Thank you.
Awesome. How's the conference been so far for you?
Great. Man, well, I got in really, really late last night.
Oh, yeah?
I was surprised at 1:30 in the morning it was so dead.
Yeah.
Because I was ready to, have a few cocktails and relax.
Yeah.
But everybody was dead, which is good because I slept and I worked pretty hard on my speech,
I love it.
which I was happy with. So
Nice. Are you speaking tonight?
I spoke at noon.
Oh, you already
It was-
spoke?
Yeah, it was
nice.
great.
What'd you talk about?
What just happened, what we need to do to keep it going, the kind of the history of this movement, and it was you always get to address the question of, well, do you think the people who broke the law in the Russian collusion hoax, is that retribution? Is that revenge? No, that's rebalancing the scales of justice.
Right.
If people engaged in treason, why should they get a free pass?
Yeah,
Why should they get a free pass?
agreed. You've seen a lot in politics working with so many campaigns. Does anything surprise you anymore?
No, not at all.
I mean, you've seen a lot under Nixon, Reagan, Trump.
The left has no rules. The Constitution doesn't matter, legal precedent doesn't matter, law doesn't matter. They just do whatever they want, and they will until somebody stops them.
Right. Has the left always been this crazy and sporadic in your experience?
No, I think that they have been turbocharged.
What do you think fueled that recently?
Well, first of all, they are dealing with billions of dollars of dark money. Democrat Senate candidates in 2022 received millions of fraudulent contributions. This is simple. Prosecute them. It's very provable. And by the way, just let them stand in their home state. No trial in D.C. Let's try you in Florida.
Right.
The woman who ran for the Senate in Florida raised $37 million. I can prove you $30 million of that is illegal.
Wow.
She should be arrested tomorrow morning and prosecuted. She would be if she were a Republican.
Wow. I did not know it was that bad. So when you say dark money, what is that looking like?
George Soros gives money to Act Blue. They take your name and they show that you sent 50 contributions.
Right.
Now, when we go to your doorstep and say, "Hey, what about these contributions showing that I didn't give any contributions? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
It's called smurfing.
Act Blue just got exposed. Do you think any legal repercussions will come from that?
I have 19 individual attorney generals investigating them. Yes, people need to be prosecuted and sent to jail.
How long were they operating?
Certainly in the 22 and 24 cycles, big time.
Wow.
I was fighting criminal charges that were cooked up against me in 2020. We now know, what a fraud that was. But
And was that coming from Soros too?
I think there was more coming from the Clintons. I exposed the Clintons in my book, The Clintons' War on Women. Let's just say Hillary was not crazy about that.
They have a lot of power, right?
They did then. They have very little power today.
I mean, there were theories they were pulling the strings under Obama too.
Well, the Obamas and the Clintons hate each other more than we hate them.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, very clearly.
When did that hatred start?
Well, you see, Hillary was anointed. It was hers. She had a deal with her husband that after him, she would be president. Along comes this completely unknown senator from Illinois that no one has ever heard of. And she and her husband know more about presidential elections than anybody, but Obama beats him. Let's remember what Bill Clinton said to Ted Kennedy. Ted, in the old days, this boy would be out fetching our coffee. So there's no love lost. That Bill Clinton, the guy who went to the Supreme Court to argue that Arkansas state troopers should be able to pull people aside for the crime of driving while black.
Crazy.
Anyway,
Which election victory felt the most fulfilling, felt the best for you? Was it
this one without any question.
Why?
Well, because it's not just Trump winning an election campaign. He had to defeat a tsunami of lawfare in which they used the full authority of the judicial branch of government to try to bankrupt him, try to keep him off the ballot. tried to incarcerate him. So he had to come not just overcome a regular election, in which the vote counting process in some questions is at a minimum questionable in terms of its integrity, but he had to overcome that tsunami of lawfare and the fake news media supported drumbeating to try to make it real.
Right.
And the American people saw through all of it, every bit of it.
I think they saw through it in part due to social media, right? Due to
Yes,
X.
without any question. That's why they're so apoplectic against Elon. You lost your monopoly on social media.
Right.
Okay, now the Trump Justice Department needs to look at Facebook because they're violating antitrust laws. Pam Bondi, this is not difficult.
Yeah. Well,
Not difficult.
well, Mark just donated $1 million. Do you think that's more of an apology?
He's 449 million short of what he spent to steal the election. He's a criminal and he should be prosecuted.
Yeah, when I saw that donation, I was like, he's doing that to get
and it
favors.
was just going to buy him nothing.
Yeah.
Trump's laughing at him while taking his money.
I mean, they banned him. They banned you, right? Facebook.
I'm completely banned on Facebook.
And you're still not back?
No.
Would you ever go back?
Well, it's hard to say. There are at least 5 Roger Stones right now on Facebook. There's one guy, I was in a restaurant the other night, a guy said, "Hey, Stone, where's that crypto I bought from you?"
Oh, my God.
What are you talking about? The crypto I bought from you on Facebook. There's no crypto.
Scammer, yeah. That's terrible. I mean, they should be held accountable for that.
I totally agree.
They're doing that to every known figure, not just you.
Yeah, that's what I understand.
I got fake Sean Kellys. I've seen fake Trumps.
It happens every day. There's a fake Roger Stone. There's many actually on Twitter, but there's one or X, one who's particularly obnoxious. And they're clever, so they take what you post and they post it so it looks like it's you, but then they intersperse their crap within it.
Yeah. Have you reached out to Twitter to get them removed?
Yes, but it takes forever.
Wow, even someone with your authority.
Takes forever.
That's pretty crazy, right?
And what happens is when they are ordered to delete, they just pop up again a few days later.
Yeah.
With a slightly different,
That's crazy. Do you see any big similarities with Nixon, Reagan, and Trump, their leadership styles?
Very much so, but different. Like Reagan, Trump is more of a big picture guy, more interested in the big picture, less interested in the details. But they were both, particularly Nixon, they were a threat to the deep state. Nixon was taken down, as we now know, from declassified documents by the CIA,
Wow.
who knew well in advance about the break-in at the Watergate. Tucker Carlson had a great show on this because he was going to dismantle the CIA. First of all, he was upset that they would not give him the records about the assassination of JFK, and secondarily, they were spying on his foreign policy.
Wow.
If you read his biography and you read his chief of staff's diary, he was planning a complete overhaul of the CIA, and that's why they took him out.
Crazy. And JFK, right?
Yes, same thing.
Same. You think those files will ever get released for JFK?
Yes, I do.
I hope they do, because I think it's really important information.
No, they definitely will.
Do you think Trump has the potential to eradicate the deep state once and for all?
He has the power to do it. I believe he has the will to do it. Now the question is, will he get the people around him to do it? I think in Kash Patel he has that. The rest remains to be seen. We need Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah.
The reason they're trying to smear her. Reuters story, 8 senators have reservations. That's I can count votes. It's 3 and they're not even decided. But you see, they try to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't get my news from Reuters for the same reason I don't eat out of the toilet. They just lie. That's a lie. That reporter is a liar.
Oh.
People should go on social media and confront them in a polite way, but it's just not true. They're upset that Tulsi Gabbard would be at the nexus of all of our of all of our intelligence agencies. And she will be able to prove that they're not impartial, they're not non-political, and they're not honest.
Yep.
They're weaponized.
That being said, which news outlets do you trust to consume information from these days?
Well, let's see. I like Resist the Mainstream. I like Breitbart, obviously.
Yep.
I like Gateway Pundit a lot. I like InfoWars. I don't agree with Alex Jones about everything, but I agree with him about many, many things, probably most things. The whole point, of course, is that X is the fountain of all truth.
Yeah.
If you spend time there, you will learn things you didn't know.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the people who are running around still thinking the COVID-19 vaccination was both safe and effective.
I mean,
but there are people who believe that.
Yeah. But you see these news outlets are struggling now. MSNBC might go bankrupt. ABC is
Yeah,
struggling.
because I think people they're just not buying the lies anymore. First of all, pharmaceutical companies should be banned from advertising on television and on cable, just like alcohol and just like cigarettes. Why not?
Yeah, that
Why
would put
not?
a lot of them in financial struggle
There is no question.
because they're half the
And
advertisers.
secondarily, if it's true, as I read yesterday, that Pfizer switched out the formula for their COVID-19 vaccination, which had been approved for emergency use, for a more toxic formula, people need to go to prison.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I read that. I read a pretty good report. If it is accurate, and I'm not certain, but it appears to be true, then somebody should be prosecuted.
I mean, the more time that goes on, the more health issues you're seeing from that vaccine.
Yes, but there are those on the left who don't even. All right, let's put it this way: there are those among the American people who don't see that.
How is
because
that possible?
It's because where they're watching. If you're watching CNN, if you're watching MSNBC, if you're reading the New York Times and the Washington Post, you are brain dead.
I just don't get it, though. They must know someone that has had issues from it. How are they putting these outlets before just logic? It doesn't make sense to me, right? What do you got planned next, man?
I'm going to. I have to finish the book about the ordeal of being persecuted and squeezed to bear false witness against Trump. I passed 3 polygraph tests that proved everything the government alleged about me was a lie. The judge would not give us Mueller's final report. We know why, because once we got it through a federal lawsuit, Mueller himself admits that he found no evidence of Russian collusion or WikiLeaks collaboration, or even says it, or any other crime on Stone's part. But the judge withheld that from my defense attorneys, which is why I deserve the pardon. I really did nothing wrong. To violate the False Statements Act, your false statement has to be willful, but more importantly, it has to be material. What underlying crime was I hiding? The Russian collusion? There is no Russian collusion.
Crazy.
So, yeah, it is. It's Kafkaesque. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, they put you against Trump, and it affected your relationship.
But the prosecutor who dreamed this up, Andrew Weissman, this is a guy who lied to cover up mob murders when he was a prosecutor in Brooklyn. This is a guy who destroyed Enron and Arthur Anderson, and his award-winning verdicts in those trials were unanimously overturned by the Supreme Court, and he was tongue-lashed for prosecutorial misconduct. Now, he ran the Mueller investigation. When the cell phones of the Mueller prosecutors were under subpoena by the special counsel, he erased their memories.
Wow.
Why has he not been arrested? That is obstruction of justice, and it is a destruction of evidence. One standard of justice.
Yeah.
One standard. Mr. Weissman, we know where you are. We know what you have done. It is provable to a grand jury. It's your turn.
It's crazy to me because a lot of people don't have the money to fight stuff like this, you know? You saw what happened to the J6ers.
Well, in my case, I was bankrupted. I had to go out and raise every dollar for my legal defense. Thank God for the prayers and the small contributions of hundreds of thousands of Americans.
Yeah.
And even then, D.C. is a killing field, zero chance of a fair trial. In my trial, the jury forewoman testified during jury selection and during the trial. I never heard of Roger Stone. I know nothing about his case. But she'd been attacking me on Twitter and Facebook for a year before the trial about the very case in which she was picked as a juror, but she had it on a private setting.
Wow.
So it could not be found. She should have, first of all, the verdict should have been thrown out, and she should have been prosecuted.
100%.
But, and if it had been any place other than D.C., she might have been.
D.C. and New York are screwed. Those two are probably the worst.
It's true. Trump needs to do away with the entire D.C. Federal jurisdiction. Yeah. It's not provided for in the Constitution. There is no D.C. prosecutor. D.C. is not a state.
And they spent hundreds of millions trying to put him in prison.
Yes.
I mean, it's mind-blowing. The stress that comes from that and scare tactics, it's not fair.
Yes.
Well, where can people watch your show, man?
You go to, the most important place to go is stonezone.com.
Okay.
From there, you can learn everything. I do a daily show on Rumble at rumble.com/Roger Stone, The Stone Zone, every day at 8 p.m. Eastern. On the weekends, I do a radio show at 77 WABC Radio New York, the largest, most powerful AM radio signal in the country. 3 hours every Sunday from 3 to 6. It doesn't matter where you live. You can listen by going to WABCradio.com.
Awesome. Well, link below. Thanks for coming on.
Great to be here.
Cool.